Good evening, children. So welcome to yet another session of grade 6 Olympiad class.
The simplest way to get rid of your aches and pains is exercise, and you very well know it.
Good evening. Shall I start, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we continue the chapter on our environment. I think we had done some questions last time. We'll continue with that. And I will quickly revise whatever we had done last time. Okay. So in this, we had started with the type of wastes, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. And if you remember, the biodegradable wastes are the waste that can be degraded, that can be decomposed, that can degrade and mix up with the soil. Non-biodegradable wastes are wastes that cannot be degraded, they cannot be decomposed, and they create an environmental hazard. They create pollution, air pollution, soil pollution, and water pollution. And they are made up of synthetic materials, not man-made or organic or natural materials. So these are the two types of waste, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So what are the biodegradable waste? Biodegradable waste can be paper, wood, dry leaves, kitchen waste. They're all degradable. They can be degraded. So they are known as biodegradable waste. The non-biodegradable wastes are synthetic material. They are plastic bottles, plastic, polythene, tin cans, metals, and all that. Those are the non-biodegradable wastes. Okay, next. So these wastes should be segregated, because if the biodegradable and degradable wastes are put together, then it will create a nuisance in the environment. Yeah, right. So the non-biodegradable wastes are placed separately and the biodegradable wastes are placed separately. What do we do with them? With the biodegradable waste, we can convert it into compost. See, here is compost being made. All these kitchen waste and paper and all the peels, vegetable peels and everything, they're put in a deep pit. Soil is added, some water is sprinkled, and it is covered. After a few months, it is converted into this. This is known as compost or manure, and it is. And once we put it back into the soil becomes very, very fertile. So compost or manure is good for the soil. So why to throw away these wastes when we can convert it into compost and bring it back into the soil? And the non-biodegradable waste should be either reduced, reused, or recycled. These are the 3 R's for non-biodegradable waste. Reduce means they are reduced. We should use less of it. We should not use plastic bottles or polythene bags. We should use less of it. Instead, what can we use? We can use jute bags, cloth bags, and everything. Or we should reuse it. For example, once we use the plastic bottle, we shouldn't throw it away. We can reuse it. We can recycle it. We can make into different items and recycle. For example, paper which is used to wrap presents and all. You can use that paper to do some other handicraft item or something instead of just throwing it away into the land.
Ma'am, hello.
Yes,
Ma'am, zoom little bit.
some more. I've zoomed it till 100. That is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So these are about the waste, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Now let us do the layers of the atmosphere. What are the layers of the atmosphere? The exosphere, thermosphere, mesosphere, stratosphere, and troposphere. These are the layers of the atmosphere. What is the lithosphere? There are some questions in the Olympiad about lithosphere. The lithosphere is the outermost layer of the crust, which consists of the rocks, the soil, the minerals, and everything. Then there are some questions on ecosystem. So see, I'm doing all this facts about it so that once the question answer starts, you should be able to know what these terms are. So these terms you should be familiar with. I will teach you the terms so that when the question comes, you should be able to answer. Ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? Okay. Ecosystem is a structural and functional unit where the living organisms, they interact with each other and with the surrounding. So, for example, the tiger lives in the grassland. So they interact with each other. They interact with the environment also. So the entire grassland becomes an ecosystem. In the grassland, there is the cow, the deer, the elephants, the zebras, the giraffes, the rhinos, the tiger, the lion, and all of them live there. So they interact between each other, the deer and the lion. They interact in what way? Of being eaten or being eaten. And they also interact with the environment. They also interact with the surrounding in which they stay. For example, the grass or the other animals which they eat, the water where they drink, the air around them. So they form a functional unit. Okay, because they interact between themselves and with the environment and with the surrounding, they form a unit. And this unit is known as an ecosystem. So we have these two types of ecosystems, that is the aquatic ecosystem and the terrestrial ecosystem. The aquatic ecosystem, as the name suggests, they will be in water. So we have the freshwater ecosystem, for example, the lake, ponds, and the river. And we have the marine ecosystem, for example, the ocean and the sea. The terrestrial ecosystem, that means all the ecosystem present in the land. We have the forest ecosystem, we have the grassland ecosystem, we have the mountain ecosystem, and we have the desert ecosystem. So these are all the ecosystems that are present, naturally present in our surrounding. Can you name one ecosystem which is not which is man-made, which is not present in the environment? Okay, so let me see if you're answering. An ecosystem which is man-made means it is not present in the environment. Aquarium. Aquarium, we make it into an ecosystem. We put pebbles, we put sand, we put small fish, we put large fish, we put plants in it. So that forms an ecosystem where the plants and the animals living in it, the fish living in it, they interact with each other, and they also interact with the sand, the pebbles, and the water present in it. Okay, so that forms a artificial ecosystem. So these are the natural ecosystems which we are talking about. Okay, yes, the park. Park is man-made, and somebody said park, aquarium. Yes, that is correct. Okay, then let us do the food chain and the food web. Many questions have been asked whether they're in grade 4 Olympiad or grade 5 Olympiad or grade 6 Olympiad. Questions have been asked on food web and food chain. Food chain is a chain where the animals have been put in a chain like this. And how are they arranged? Of being eaten or eating. For example, it always starts with green plants. Why? Because green plants make their own food. They don't depend on anyone for food. By the process of photosynthesis, they make their food. So these are known as, that is why they are known as producers or primary producers, because they produce food. And these food, this grass or the plants are first consumed by or eaten by herbivores. So they are the primary consumers. They consume first. Primary means first. So they are the first ones to consume these food. So these are the primary consumers. These primary consumers are then eaten by the herbivores. They are the secondary consumers. Okay. So these are the secondary consumers, the herbivores. These herbivores are eaten by the carnivores. They are known as the tertiary consumers. Okay. So, and then all of them, the plants, animals, the herbivores, the secondary consumers, primary consumers, when they die, they are decomposed and they are left back into the soil. And those are the decomposers. This is a food chain. What is a food web? In the food web, what we see is there are many food chains together. For example, the grass. It is being eaten by mouse, but the mouse is eaten by hawk. The mouse is also being eaten by owl, and the mouse is being eaten by fox. And the grass is eaten by rabbit. Rabbit is eaten by fox. Okay. The grass is eaten by the grasshopper. The grasshopper is eaten by bird. It is also being eaten by frog. The bird is being eaten by snake, and the snake is being eaten by the hawk. So here there is a network of food chains. So many food chains, when they are put together in an ecosystem, that becomes a food web. So this is a food web. Now, there is another term which is there in your in the question here, and that is known as the plankton. Okay, so I'll just show you what are planktons. It is a new term, probably you'll learn. Planktons. Planktons are microscopic organisms. Okay, they're very, very tiny, and you can see them only under the microscope. And they are present on the surface of the water. If you see a pond or a lake or ocean or sea, you'll find that there is a layer, a green layer or something, and all these are microorganisms present on the sea, the ocean, the river, the lake, pond, everywhere. Now, these planktons in an aquatic food chain, these planktons form the first level in a food chain. For example, the planktons are of two types, phytoplankton and zooplankton. The word zoo means animal. So all these microscopic animals will form the zooplankton. All these microscopic plants will form the phytoplankton. So all these small fish or the young ones of a fish, the fish larvae, sorry, the spelling of larvae is written wrong. I could not correct it. It is Larvae. Okay. So these young ones of a fish, I told you, I think, in this class that the young ones of any organism that lays eggs, once the eggs hatch out, they are known as larvae. Okay. So the young ones or for example, of the fish, they eat these zooplanktons or they eat these phytoplanktons. So that is why planktons form the first level in any aquatic food chain, planktons. Okay. Then we come to greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect, acid rain, global warming, these are three terms which you must know when you read about environment. Now, what is this greenhouse effect? Now, when the sun's rays falls on the earth, some of the rays are trapped by the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which is necessary. Otherwise, the earth will be a very cold place. Okay. And some of it is reflected back into the atmosphere. But there is a layer of carbon dioxide which is not allowing the rays to be reflected back into the atmosphere. It is getting back into the atmosphere. Okay. So this is what the carbon dioxide layer is doing. See, it is not allowing it to go back. Okay. It is getting it back into the Earth's surface. As a result, what will happen? As a result, once the heat is going out and it is coming back again, the Earth will get warmer and warmer. So this is known as a greenhouse effect. When the rays are not allowed to go back, it is reflected back to the surface of the Earth. This is known as greenhouse effect. And that causes increase in the temperature of the Earth's surface and it causes global warming. That is why we find every year the temperature is rising and rising and rising, and that is causing global warming, which is going to be very, very harmful. So this is the greenhouse effect, where the sun's rays are trapped. They are not allowed to go back into the space. So they are trapped. That is known as greenhouse effect. And the greenhouse effect causes global warming. Then what is acid rain? Now, acid rain is when a lot of carbon dioxide is getting accumulated in the atmosphere. Okay, now because of pollution, lot of carbon dioxide is getting accumulated. So what is happening? All this carbon dioxide is not allowing the sun's rays to escape into the space. It is getting it back reflected onto the earth. Now, this carbon dioxide and all the other gases which are emitted by your vehicles, that is sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, they are mixing with the rain. And rainwater and oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of carbon, like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, nitrous oxide, and sulfur dioxide, they mix up with water of the acid of the rain and form an acid. And this acid is very, very harmful for the living organisms. They're very harmful for the just a minute, I'll stop sharing. They're very harmful for the monuments. You must have heard the Taj Mahal. The marble of the Taj Mahal is getting yellower and yellowish nowadays. So because it is because of what? It is because of acid rain. And what is this acid rain doing? This acid rain is very, very corrosive. Okay. For example, the carbon dioxide and water becomes carbonic acid. Sulfur dioxide and water becomes sulfur dioxide. Nitrogen oxide and water becomes nitric acid. So it falls on the marble of the Taj Mahal and other monuments also. And it makes the marble yellow, and it also corrodes it. Okay. So that is why government has also banned any motor vehicle within 5 kilometers of the Taj Mahal, so that all these gases which are emitted by the motor vehicles, they do not pollute the atmosphere and they do not form acid rain. Okay, now let us do the questions. Yes, algae is plankton. Okay. The fourth number in the food chain, yes. We will do it once we start. Yes, producers are also known as autotrophs. In the trophic level, producers are also known as autotrophs. Okay. Now we had done till this part. I think question number 15. 15 questions we are done. And the next one. The formula of ozone is O3. Formula of oxygen is O2. Formula of ozone is O3. Now here again, that is why I told you about the planktons. What are these planktons? Now this is a food chain in a ocean. For example, the shark eat the seals eat fish, and these fish eat planktons. So here, which of the following results when there is an increase in the population of shark? Now, if the shark population increases, then more and more seals they will depend on food. So the seal population will decrease. If the seal population decreases, then the fish population increases. So here in the food chain, any disturbance in the food chain will lead to a disturbance in the entire ecosystem. That is why it is said that we have to maintain a balance in the ecosystem. That term is known as balance in the ecosystem. So here about planktons I've written down. Microscopic plants and animals are called planktons, and they play a big role in the aquatic ecosystems. Why? They provide the base for the entire marine food web. Okay. There are two types of planktons, phytoplanktons, which are plants, and zooplanktons, which are animals. What is the formula of carbon dioxide? It is CO2. You can't see the screen. Sorry, you could not see the screen. I will share again. Can you see now? Can you see the screen now? Yes. Okay. So we'll go back to the question. This is the question I had asked, which you missed. And the question is this one. Which of the following results when there is an increase in the population of sharks? Now, this is a food chain in a sea. Okay. Now, here, the sharks, they eat the seal eats fish, and the fish eats planktons. I've told you what planktons are. So what will happen if there's an increase in the population of sharks? What will happen? If shark population increases, then what will happen? They will need more food. More sharks means more food needed. And what will be the food of shark? The seal. So the seal population will decrease. Okay. So the answer will be, there will be a decrease in the population of seals. Okay. That will be the immediate effect, right? And what are planktons? I have told you already. Planktons are microscopic plants and animals, and they play a big role in any aquatic ecosystem. And they form the base for the entire marine food web. This is a marine food web. Marine. The word marine means sea or ocean. Freshwater means river, lake, pond. Okay, marine is sea and ocean. Freshwater is river, lakes, and ponds. So in the marine food web, so these planktons play a major role. And there are two main types of planktons, the phytoplankton, which are plants, microscopic plants, not plants, but microscopic plants, and zooplanktons, which are microscopic animals. Next, lithosphere. I hope you remember I had shown you the picture of the lithosphere. What is it made up of? It is the outermost layer of the earth, and I will show it to you again. Here, this is the lithosphere and the outermost, this one. The part of the crust and part of the asthenosphere. So it will be made up of not soil and minerals, but also rocks. So rocks, soil, and minerals. This will be the answer of lithosphere. Next, which is not a natural ecosystem. This also we had done. Natural ecosystem is the desert, a pond, a forest, but aquarium is not a natural ecosystem. It is man-made. Dash is the solid crust or the hard top layer of the earth. So that is the lithosphere, which we have already done. Just now, I showed you the picture. Lithosphere. Yes, water is also there, but water forms the hydrosphere. Okay. Which of the following is not a main domain of the earth? The troposphere. Troposphere forms the innermost layer. Okay. The rest of it are the main domains of the earth. The major domain. The biosphere, the lithosphere, and the hydrosphere. Okay. Next. The domain of water is referred to as hydrosphere. Okay. So wherever there's that layer of water is the hydrosphere. Which of the following are environment-friendly practices? What is the meaning of environment-friendly practices? Environment-friendly means you save the environment from pollution. You save the soil, you save the water, you save the air around you. And in what way we can prevent it from getting polluted? So by carrying cloth bags to put purchases in while shopping. So you do not carry polythene bags. You carry your cloth bag or jute bag. So this is good. Yes, we can save the environment. This is an environment-friendly practice. Switching off unnecessary lights and fans. I'm sure all of you must be doing it at home also. You switch off the AC, you switch off the light, you switch off the fan once you leave the room. Even at home or in the classroom also in school. Walking to school instead of getting your mother to drop you on her scooter. Okay. So on your bike, your mother drops you or your dad drops you in the car, bike, scooter, anywhere. So there again, once this vehicle is out, the vehicle will emit a lot of smoke. This smoke adds to the pollution. It will release carbon dioxide. It will release sulfur dioxide. It will release nitrogen dioxide. So all these vehicles, they have this pollution certificates. All vehicles, they must have these pollution certificates. If your car, your dad's car or your mom's car doesn't have a pollution certificate, then it will not be allowed into the road. Okay, they'll have to pay a heavy fine for it. Why? Because these vehicles are emitting these gases which are adding to the greenhouse. These are all greenhouse gases: carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. They are known as greenhouse gases. Why are they greenhouse gases? Because they prevent the rays of the sun they trap the rays of the sun inside the atmosphere. They do not allow it to go out. And since they trap the rays of the rays of the sun cannot go out. They get reflected back into the Earth's atmosphere, and the Earth gets warmer and warmer. So that is why these gases are known as greenhouse gases, because they're creating a greenhouse effect. Okay, all of these. Okay, so here, all of these will be the answer, because all of these are environment-friendly practices. So dash is an omnivore animal. I'm sure you'll be able to answer this. Omnivore animals are animals that eat plants and animals. Okay, they can eat plants and animals. Okay. Yes, all of these. Acid rain ever happened in India? Yes, acid rain happens everywhere, because the entire Earth is surrounded by these greenhouse gases. And once it rains, then wherever it rains, the water of the rain, it mixes up with these greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, and it falls down as acid rain. Now we'll do level 2. Study the food web shown below. Now this food web shows P is eaten by Q, P is also eaten by R. P is also eaten by T, Q is eaten by T, Q is eaten by S. Now here you'll find that somehow or the other, they are all depending on P. So that means P is a plant. Okay, how is organism P in the food chain different from the organisms Q, R, S, and T? It can photosynthesize, or it is a plant, or it is an autotroph, or it can make its own food, or all of these animals depend on P. So this is the correct answer. So in this food web, P is a plant. Okay, so here. Now here, just see this. R is being eaten by W. W is being eaten by X. X is being eaten by Y. And Y is being eaten by Z. Okay, if organism Y is removed from the food chain, which one of the following graphs shows the changes in the other population? Okay, now let us see what is the graph. Now, first let us see what happens if Y is removed. Now, if Y is removed from the food chain, Y is being eaten by Z. Now, if Y is removed, then Z will not get any food to eat. So what will happen to the population of Z? Z population will decrease. Okay, so the population of Z will decrease. Let us see if it is reflecting in the graph. So in which graph Z population is decreasing? Here. This one. This is the answer. B. Okay. Now Z, if Y is removed, the population of Z, they will not get food. So Z will decrease. If Y is removed, so the food of Z is not there. So obviously, if they don't get food, their population will decrease, they will die of hunger. So this will be the answer, that Z population will decrease. Yes, population of Z will increase and population of W will increase. Correct. The given flowchart represents various methods of food disposal, waste disposal. Identify W, X, Y, and Z. Method of waste disposal, sorry, the spelling of disposal is wrong. DISPOSAL. Okay, wastes are burnt, that is W. Now, wastes are burnt. For example, some of these medical wastes, they are burnt. This is known as incineration. Incineration. Incineration means burning of the medical waste. Best way of getting rid of medical waste is by incineration. Okay. Wastes are buried underground. Now, this is done in landfills. X is landfills. What are landfills? Landfills are huge areas of land where all the waste of the entire city is dumped there, and it is buried in a huge pit, and some soil is added to it, and it is allowed to decompose. Nowadays, and it is far away from the city, so that all the waste, will not, you will not get the smell of these wastes and all once it is getting during the process of decomposition. So these landfills are built away from the city, on the outskirts of the city, and the entire city's waste, it gets dumped there. So those are the landfills. Waste products are buried underground. So that is landfill. Earthworms are added to the buried waste products. So that earthworms, why earthworms? Now, earthworms are very, very good at composting, to make compost. Okay. Now, this sort of composting, this method of forming compost, I showed you in the PPT how compost is made. You put the kitchen waste, put a layer of soil, sprinkle some water on it, and cover it. And after a few months, it will become fertile soil. Okay. But earthworms, when it is added to it, it is known as vermicomposting. Okay. This is the spelling. Y is vermicomposting. So this is earthworms are very, very, what they do is they eat this soil, and the undigested food of the earthworm is nothing but fertile soil. So they convert all these wastes into fertile soil. And that compost, that fertile soil which they convert is known as, that method is known as vermicomposting. So what do we have to find out? We have to find out now. Please remember, children, in these Olympiad exam, what is being asked is the incorrect option. So read the question carefully when you answer the options, when you choose the option, whether it is asking the correct option or the incorrect option. Here it is asking the incorrect option. So here, medical waste can be disposed by the process W. Yes, by incineration. This is correct. Process X can be landfilling, which is used for liquid waste disposal. No, not for liquid waste disposal, but landfilling, yes. Manure can be produced by process Y. Yes, manure or compost can be produced by process Y. Biodegradable kitchen waste can be disposed by process Z. Yes, it can be disposed by process Z. Like composting or vermicomposting can be done by process Z. So this one will be the incorrect one. Okay. Refer to the Venn diagram. Again, Venn diagram questions are always asked in the Olympiad. And I hope you know by now, after grade 4 and 5 and all, by 6th standard, you should be able to know what a Venn diagram is. So here, this circle here consists of, it is a solid waste. This circle, it consists all the biodegradable waste. And this circle consists of, it is used in biogas plants. Now, what is biogas? Biogas is methane. And how is it produced? It is produced when cow dung is added and it is processed. Then biogas is produced. In villages, many biogas plants have been put by government so that this biogas is used instead of these LPG and all that. The biogas plants are being used. Biogas machines or biogas structures are being used to heat food. For example, we are using the gas cylinder, LPG gas cylinder. But in villages, they're using biogas plants which is very, very useful because they are converting all these biodegradable waste are being converted and biogas is produced. Okay, so this is environment friendly. So X is something which is a solid waste, which is biodegradable and which is used in biogas plants. So what is X and what is Y? X could be DDT, whereas Y could be bones. X could be DDT. No, because DDT is, no, I'll just write down what is DDT. This is DDT. Okay, so this is DDT. This is the full form of DDT, dichlorodiethyl trichloroethane. So this is a pesticide. It is an insecticide. And it used to be sprayed on plants so that all these insects which infect the plant, which destroy the crops, they used to get killed. But what used to happen is, if they are sprayed on rice crop, and it is very, very poisonous, this DDT. So we as humans are consuming it. So it goes into the food chain. There are birds eating these grains. These DDT goes into their body. So in 1972, it was banned in many countries in the world. Okay. In some countries, it is still being used, but then in most of the countries, DDT spray has been banned because it is said to be non-biodegradable and also toxic. So X could be DDT. No, because it is non-biodegradable and it is not used in biogas plants and it is not a solid waste. Y could be bones. Yes, Y could be bones, but this statement is wrong. X could be syringes. X could be syringes. No, X cannot be syringes because it is non-biodegradable and it may be a solid waste, but it is not used in biogas plants. Whereas Y could be scissors. Y could be scissors, but then this is wrong. X could be rotten vegetables, whereas Y could be metal. Okay. X could be rotten vegetables, whereas X could be rotten vegetables, whereas Y could be metals. X could be rotten vegetables, yes. X can be rotten vegetable. It is a solid waste. It is biodegradable, not used in biogas plants. So this is not the answer. X could be cow dung. Yes, X could be cow dung. It is a solid waste. It is biodegradable. It is used in biogas plants. Whereas Y could be dried leaves. Yes, Y could be dried leaves because dried leaves are solid waste. So this will be the answer. What is Z? There is no Z here. Okay, there's only X and Y. DDT is not an artificial fertilizer. DDT is a pesticide. It is not a fertilizer. It is a pesticide or insecticide. It kills insects. It doesn't make the soil fertile. So it is not a fertilizer. Okay, so there is no Z here. Somebody is asking that what is Z? Then yes, P is missing in vermicomposting, maybe. Okay. Read the given statements and select the correct option. Now, these type of questions are being asked in multiple choice questions. So, two statements are given. Both of them may be connected, may not be connected. So, you have to read both the statements and answer. Statement 1. Biomedical wastes are disposed by incineration. Incineration, I told you, by burning. Landfills are usually present outside the city so that the rotting garbage does not pollute land or water. Both the statements are correct. Okay, now let us see the question regarding it. Both statements 1 and 2 are true, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. No. Statement 2 doesn't in no way connected to this. Okay. These are landfills. This is by incineration. Okay. Both are methods of disposing of waste. Okay. So biomedical wastes are non-biodegradable. They can be disposed of by incineration. Landfills for all these degradable wastes which are present outside the city. So this is not correct. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, true, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1. Yes, this is correct. Both the statements are true. Both the statements are correct. But statement 2 does not explain statement 1. No. Statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. No, both are statements are true. Both statements 1 and 2 are false. No, both the statements are true. Okay, which of the following statements is true about acid rain? Now, again, I told you about acid rain that, what does it do? Acid rain has harmful effects on living beings. Yes, all the aquatic animals, once these acid rain gets into the water, it will harm the animals living in water. Acid rain mainly comprises of H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, and nitric acid. Yes, it actually, the atmosphere, when it gets polluted with oxides of sulfur dioxide, of sulfur, that is sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, it mixes up with the water of the acid of the rain and becomes acid rain. So this is true. Acid rain causes damage to the ozone layer. No, ozone layer is not damaged by acid rain. Acid rain causes damage to the buildings and monuments. Yes, I told you Taj Mahal and many other monuments are getting harmed by acid rain. So the answer, which of the following statements are true? So what is true will be 1, 2, and 4. So this will be the answer. Option D, yes. So this is some facts written about acid rain. When acid rain is mixed with water bodies like rivers, lakes, etc., these water bodies get polluted. And when they get polluted, they harm the aquatic plants and animals living in the water. Then it corrodes the monuments or buildings. The yellow color of the Taj Mahal is due to acid rain. And these sulfur dioxide and present in an acid rain causes various health problems like, okay, I've forgotten to write down, oxides of sulfur and nitrogen. So oxides of sulfur and nitrogen present in the acid rain causes various health problems like asthma, bronchitis, etc. Acid rain is caused by the release of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere, where they react with water, oxygen, and other chemicals, and they become what? They become sulfuric acid and nitric acid, respectively. Okay. So I hope acid rain you have all understood. Which of the following is a correct match? Wastes from farmyards and food courts are non-biodegradable waste. It is asking for a correct match. Is this a correct match? No. Waste from farmyards. Farmyards, you'll get cow dung, you'll get grass, dry leaves. All these are biodegradable. They are not non-biodegradable. So this is not correct match. Pesticides, pharmaceutical means medicines. Pesticides, pharmaceutical, and heavy metal sludge. They are biodegradable? No. Pesticides are non-biodegradable. So this is not a correct match. Peels of fruits and vegetables and tea leaves are organic waste. Organic wastes are same as biodegradable waste. So they are also biodegradable waste. So this is correct. So peels of fruits, vegetables, tea leaves, they are all organic waste, or they are all biodegradable waste. So this is a correct match. Mineral waste from mining and rubber waste is not a kitchen waste. So this is not a correct match. Okay, different steps of vermicomposting. We had spoken about vermicomposting. Okay, so how is it done? These are the steps, but then it is all given in jumbled. We have to arrange it. Now, the first thing which we do is we dig a pit in a suitable place. Okay, this is number one. Then what we do is we spread sand on the floor of the pit. Okay, this is one. This is one. Spread sand on the floor. This is two. Then cover it with grass. Then sprinkle water to keep it moist. Then add vegetable peels and fruit waste in the pit. Then place earthworms in the pit. I've told you that, just a minute. Sorry, I had to charge my laptop. Okay, so we will do this. The various. Okay. Now here, the first option will be number one will be number 5. Dig a pit in a suitable place. So let us see which one is the first option. 5-1 here. This is 5-1. Fifth option is the first one. So either B or C. Now the next option will be next step. Okay. Now the next step. Now here, after that, we have to spread sand on the floor of the pit. That is the next step. So next will be 1. Okay. So will be 6. I think the answers are not given correctly here. We will quickly put that here. So the first option, the first step will be to dig a pit on the suitable place, then spread sand on the floor of the pit. Then we have to spread a layer of peels, vegetable peels. This will be 3. And we have to cover this with grass. This will be 4. Then we have to sprinkle some water to keep it moist. This will be 5. And then we have to add some earthworms into 5. I think none of the options here is showing correct. So, but this is the correct one. Number 1, number 2. So it will be 5, 1, 6. Let's see. 5, 1, 6 here. This one. Yes, this is the correct option. Option B. Yes, option B, correct. So we'll go through it again. So first one will be, first to dig a pit, then spread some sand, then add the vegetable peels and all that, then cover it with grass, then sprinkle some water and place earthworms in it. So this is the correct sequence of vermicomposting. So mainly composting and vermicomposting is same, except in vermicomposting, you have to add earthworms to it. Okay, earthworms will hasten the process. It will make it quickly. Navika took 3 different types of materials and buried them under the soil. Decomposition rate of these materials is shown. Now the decomposition rate here. This is the material X, Y, and Z. Decomposition rate. Now you can see here. You can see here Y remains just the same. And X little bit and Z is totally decomposed here. So select the option that correctly identifies X, Y, and Z. So X is a jute bag, Y is a vegetable peel, Z is a plastic bottle. Okay, which one will it be? Next. Okay, here. None of you have answered. Two is 6, you have written 5. Okay, next. Okay, X here is vegetable peel, Y is plastic bottle, and Z is jute bag. Or X is a jute bag, Y are bird droppings, and Z is vegetable peel. X is a cotton shirt, Y is newspaper, and Z is cardboard box. Now, which one will it be? Can you put down the correct options here? We have done what is biodegradable and non-biodegradable materials. So which one will be the correct option? I'll show you the graph again. Here, this is the graph again of X, Y, and Z. So here Y has the maximum rate of decomposition here. This is the maximum rate of decomposition. Hence, it can be a vegetable peel because it is getting decomposed at a very fast rate. This is the rate of decomposition. So it is getting decomposed at a very fast rate. Okay, so it can be a vegetable peel. Okay, and then decomposition of X is lesser than Y. It is getting decomposed, but it is lesser than Y. So X can be a jute bag, and Z, it doesn't get decomposed at all. So it remains just like that. Here is the rate of decomposition. Z remains just like that. So Z can be a plastic. So here, what will be the option? Here, X is a jute bag, Y is a vegetable peel, and Z is a plastic bottle. Let me see if you have answered. None of you have answered? No, it is not D, it is A. Yes, A. Yes, many of you have answered A. Okay. So I hope you've understood what are biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Okay. In a food chain, the small carnivores come at the what level? In a food chain, the first level is the producers, that is the plants. The second level will be the herbivores, and the third level will be the carnivores. So here, carnivores will form the third level. Okay, autotrophs. I think somebody had told about autotrophs. So the word auto means self. Like you say automatic. So auto means self. Trophism is anything to do with food. Trophic level. At what level? Okay. And autotrophs are organisms that can make food by themselves. So autotrophs will be green plants. Definitely there'll be green plants. So autotrophs capture the energy present in the sunlight and convert it into what? They convert it into food. And food, when it oxidizes, it gives us energy. Okay, energy in the form of a chemical. So here it is chemical energy. Okay. So autotrophs convert the solar energy into chemical energy by the process of photosynthesis. Next, food chains generally consist of how many trophic levels? Trophic level. Again, trophic level is any level of a food chain is known as a trophic level. The green plants form the first trophic level. Herbivores will form the second trophic level. So how many trophic levels will it have? Minimum. Okay, so it will have the producers, the herbivores, the carnivores, and the secondary producers, the primary consumers, the secondary consumers. So they will be, and the decomposers. So minimum, they will be 4. So 4 trophic levels. In trophic levels of an ecosystem, the greatest number is of the what? The producers. That is the green plants. Because everybody is depending on green plants. Okay, so that will be the greatest numbers. Yes. In a food web, flow of energy. Now, in a food web, the energy is flowing from one trophic level to the next trophic level, to a higher trophic level. So the food level will be always, the energy flow will always be in one direction. It will not move back. Okay. So it will be unidirectional. Flow of energy is unidirectional. Following is true for a food web. The energy available at each trophic level gets diminished. Yes. From one trophic level, from the plants, when the herbivores take it, the energy which is present in plants goes into the herbivores. Okay, but little less than what is present in plants. Then when the herbivores are eaten by carnivores, they are, okay, when the herbivores are eaten by carnivores, then, sorry, can't see my, sir, have I been disconnected? Okay, I'll continue. I can't hear myself. Okay, so at each trophic level, the energy gets diminished. Okay, so energy available at each trophic level gets reduced, gets diminished. Diminished means gets reduced because energy moves from one trophic level to another trophic level. Okay, and this is also correct. So the answer is both A and B. So this will be the answer. Okay, let me put this. So both A and B. Order of energy flow in an ecosystem. Now see the order of energy flow. It will be from sunlight captured by producers. From producers, it will go to the herbivores. From herbivores, it will go to the carnivores. So this will be the energy flow in any food chain. First link in any food chain is usually green plants. Which of the following statements gives the correct explanation about the above statement? Only green plants have the capacity to synthesize food using sunlight. This is the correct statement. There are more herbivores than carnivores in a food chain. Cannot always be true. Green plants are the only ones fixed in one place in the soil and do not show any kind of movement. But that is not the reason for this. Green plants are widely distributed. That is also not the reason for this. Trophic levels are formed by which of the following components? Trophic levels are found by organisms linked in a food chain. At every level in a food chain is known as a trophic level. Okay. Both A and B, yes, both A and B. Which of the following layers constitutes the biosphere? All of these, hydrosphere, lithosphere, atmosphere, all of these will constitute the biosphere. It is that level of the atmosphere that supports life. Okay, I'll do one last question. What happens to the Earth's atmosphere due to the greenhouse effect? Due to the greenhouse effect, the Earth's atmosphere temperature increases. So it's already time. So we'll just finish here. Most of the questions we have done. So the facts about the Earth's, about the environment, I think all of you will be knowing by now. So we'll stop here. And next time we'll start with another fresh chapter. Go through the facts about our environment, that is the greenhouse effect, the acid rain, and read the question carefully before you do it. Biodegradable, non-biodegradable, acid rain, greenhouse effect, global warming, all these, pollution, everything about the environment. Okay. Bye, children. All the best.